Oh, okay. Today on the show, we are putting on the table something that we've all had to deal with at some point in our lives, be it at work, in school, in the sports arena, even in personal relationships. And I'm talking about rivalry. I am sure and I bet we must have all experienced some form of rivalry. Thelma.
You're absolutely right. You know, as human beings, rivalry oughtn't not to surprise us because it can come in the workplace or at home, all around us, because we have different dimensions. And this can spell competition, which can birth rivalry. What is important, really, is not to allow it deteriorate into a negative situation.
Yes.
Patience.
Yes, we'll be learning more about this as the show progresses, as our guests join the conversation, and they will give us helpful strategies on how to manage conflict in relationship, just so that it does not become unhealthy rivalry, and in the process create better, stronger, and more beautiful relationships.
That really is critical and important because rivalry, whether in the home or the workplace, it can start from good, they're not so good, and the really toxic situations. It can also become really tense and unhealthy. It can be a distraction. It can also impact you and up your stress levels. Good thing though, we have producers, location producers that is, from within Abuja and outside Abuja, who have been doing their research and are ready to ensure that today our viewers learn and can take something positive away from such an interesting discussion. Our package today is loaded.
Sensibly said, Thelma. I know you knew, and I know you knew, but you know I like to say it right. So let's have it. It's your favorite weekend show, Weekend Deal, coming to you from the network service of the NTA. My name is Patience Eloy Abba.
My name is Thelma Obaze. Always a pleasure to be on the show with you, where we can learn and grow together. It's Weekend Deal, and you're watching us today as we bring to the front burner workplace rivalries. When professionals clash, really, it can get fierce and competitive. But how to come out on top? It is possible and it is necessary. And that's how Sophia delves deeply today with background research to set the tone for our conversation with this feature. Sophia, please tell us more.
Rivalry among siblings happen, of course, in families where you have more than one kid. And this occurs, if you ask me, based on how the parents also manage their children. There are, in fact, endless reasons why rivalry among siblings can occur. One of such, if you ask me, is comparison. When parents openly compare their children, one against another, it can also cause rivalry. Rivalry can be either healthy or unhealthy, depending on how you look at it. It could lead to progress, and it could also lead to disintegration. Again, family structure, family structure, what do I mean? When maybe, for instance, in a family, the parents give probably specific roles to their children, and then they feel one is not capable of doing something else. You might begin to nurture gradually in the hearts of these children or these siblings that enmity and rivalry. You will see these signs in children or among siblings that there is rivalry. So if you're not careful, the effects of rivalry among siblings could tear the family apart. Because whether you like it or not, a time will come too when parents will be no more. The siblings will be left to live as brothers and sisters, as brothers or as sisters. And if they are not united, then the family will disintegrate. In romantic relationship, there could be rivalries, especially when it has to do with, number one, the income. If, for instance, the female or the wife or the husband or the feminine gender, as the case might be, in that relationship earns more than the male or the husband or the boyfriend or the fiancé, there could be also rivalry. Not just even music, football as well. You have situations where you go to play and then, or maybe watch football. Rivalry happens in every aspect of our lives, every sphere of life. In marriage, being it romantic relationship, being it ordinary friendship, acquaintance, being it also colleagues in office, being it also fellow students. You can use rivalry to improve yourself when you are able to manage or have what is called self-control. And you know that there will be no jealousy. Once there is no jealousy between you and anyone who probably is doing better, be humble enough to probably ask the person or go to the person, how do you do it? Of course, everything has to do with creativity also. You have to see how to improve what you have. Now it has to do with the self and not the other.
That is why today, Weekend Deal will explore rivalry in relationships, family, workplace, and fame.
Welcome back. If you're just joining us, it is Weekend Deal coming to you from the network service of the NTA. And thank you so much, Sophiana, for that wonderful, wonderful backgrounder. Now, we established at the beginning that rivalry can occur anywhere at home, anywhere at all. Now, when it occurs at home, how do you deal with it? NTA Secretary will tell us.
If there are 2 or 3 or 4, one wants to show that she has power. And really, one must be the leader. Because men are hypocrites, but you cannot understand it.
Najatu! Where are you?
I'm here.
Where is Aisha? Aisha!
Men play this type of game by choosing the best among the women. There is one who always did good to her husband, closely without the other women knowing that she is doing good to him. And among the women, if there are 2, 3 or 4, everyone is doing her best to see that she takes the charge of the house.
My husband is my sweetie. Oh, my husband is your sweetie. I love him so much. What do you mean?
Most of the times, you see a gap in communication between the mates.
This guy marriage rabbi, oh my God. Is this how 2 wives are?
Among the factors that causes rivalry in the family setup is one, we have economic factors. 2, we have parental factors. 3, we have social factors. When you are looking for marriage, you have to know, okay, who are you looking for? It's not every type of lady you see or every type of man you see you will marry.
My husband's house, there is jealousy. The jealousy is between me and my husband's first wife.
Nonsense, it's my husband brought you to this house. You will never see peace.
My husband doesn't love you again. That is why he married me. So you are yourself. Me, I am in town and my co-wife is in the village and we have peace. And the best thing to do is to separate the two of us. Anybody that wants to have a polygamous family should not keep them together.
Inability of, which is very fundamental, but it is not being spoken all over. That is the inability of the wife not being able to satisfy the desire of the husband. So if you have 2 or 3 wives, and it's only one that can be able to satisfy you, and the other one has problem, automatically you are going to be danger to this one, and that it may create a problem. And finally, there is this issue of not being able to cook well, because husbands always like to eat good food. So when you have 2 wives or even a 1 wife and she cannot be able to cook well.
But nevertheless, in polygamous marriage, to avoid rivalry, the best thing to do is to separate the 2 wives. Keep the other one the other side, and keep the other one the other side. So anytime you want to see any of them peacefully, you go and visit each of them.
Rivalries occur. Sometimes we call it healthy competition. But if it digresses to something else, it needs to be handled and handled on time. Our guests are here. Let's welcome them. First, with introduction, Toynrick Biainko is a human resources consultant with over a decade experience. When you see how elegantly turned out she is, you can begin to imagine what she's going to unfurl for our conversation today. First, her profile.
You're welcome to Weekend Deal.
Thank you so much.
Wow, and you look very beautiful too.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
Patience. I appreciate
So on that note, I'll be introducing our second guest. He's a sales professional and he is Jason Gangu. Let's see his profile. Gangu, welcome to Weekend Deal.
Thank you very much.
We know you are going to give us very authentic information today that will help us delve nicely and prefer solutions to what we're talking about, which is pretty commonplace. Rivalries in the workplace, in the home, everywhere, they will occur. And we get to hear that as human beings, we cannot run away from rivalry at different occasions as we traverse life. So, how do you first even identify that something or a situation is a rivalry of some sort?
Okay, quite an interesting topic. Rivalry dates back to the Bible days. As a minister of the gospel, I pick a lot of insights from the scriptures. I recall that Cain and Abel, had that instance
sibling rivalry.
Yeah, where one gave an offering that wasn't acceptable, and then there was envy and jealousy emanating, and it resulted to the death of the other. Popular story in the Bible. So it's an age-long challenge, and even in our today life, we seeing the challenges here and there. Political life will be in the family life, in the workplace. We've seen this challenge, and the effect of it, could be as far as someone going as far as taking away his or her life. We remember the story of the lady who wanted to jump into the lagoon because of a misunderstanding that she had with a would-be husband.
Her spouse.
Yeah, so just to bring that in brief.
Okay.
Okay, now say the workplace, how do we even identify that is a rivalry? Because sometimes people could be just doing their own thing, they know that a rivalry has begun. They're going about their nice business, doing their work, but rivalry has been stirred. A pot has already been stirred. How do you, we're in a workplace such as this, how do I even know that there's rivalry between I and someone if I did not start it? Or I'm not even interested in any rivalry.
Yeah, so from experience managing teams, as a regional sales manager for GlaxoSmithKline in the north, I had 9 direct reports and about 54 indirect reports, so quite a large team as it were. And as a leader, we're working with people, working with associates and colleagues. I had my ear to the ground, because sometimes it could be existing, but very subtly you will not know. And the impact on productivity is what you see as a resultant end. Yeah, so working closely with my team members, and as a leader who also have empathy, a strong sense of empathy. So I'm able to identify probably when you see moods, because sometimes someone could be speaking, but we could be in a meeting and things are going on. There are rancors that are going on, and surface level you may not know. But when you get to interact and engage with people individually, connect with them on a personal note, you're able to get information, and nip some of these issues in the bud, before they become a big challenge to impact on productivity. So sometimes you could just observe how associates are relating with one another. It could be as simple as you come into the office and then someone just looks at a colleague and then looks away without saying hello, and sometimes it could even go as far as pretending to greet, to exchange pleasantries, but behind there are issues, and those could only, most often than not, be discovered when you get close and get down to. I have a colleague, an HR professional, I'm sure
I was going to go to time. So when we talk about workplace rivalry, first, let's even go to the nitty-gritty of it. Thank God you are an HR expert. What that means is that you deal with people every day, the workforce. What causes it? How does it start?
Okay,
in your experience?
In my experience, I've realized that workplace rivalry has a lot to do with the culture of an organization. Oh. And a lot of times it stems even from the leadership. I'm sure some of us have heard of the concept of divide and conquer. It's an office politics tactic where a leader divides teams, like breaks them into like groups, right? And then manipulates them. You see some leaders maybe hiding information. You tell one person this, tell another person another thing. And then you begin to see that those people are fighting for relevance, right? Or you see times when you have a leader that gossips, right? You have this conversation with this person, that conversation, and sometimes the reason why this happens is because there are leaders that are actually intimidated by strong, united teams. There are leaders that want to be a hero. They want people to, struggle and fight for them, like for their attention, for that relevance. So sometimes it starts from the leadership, unfortunately. You see it in big organizations, you see it in small organizations, and sometimes it happens because of even limited opportunities, right? Imagine you have this big organization and then there's only one role, and you have lots of people who are applying for that opportunity. So sometimes you see that people have to put each other down, put the other person down, in order to get to that position. And just as you asked, it's sometimes confusing because it's the person that is in that place that knows they are doing it. Rivalry in the office has to do with a lot of manipulation. There's a lot of gossiping, a lot of lying behind closed doors, a lot of trying to be the favorite. So
it can even be like sign language sometimes.
Yes.
You could sit in the midst and be totally clueless.
Yes.
That's right.
Yes. So the person that is being affected, and mostly if you are not that kind of person, right? We see the world the way we are. So if you have a clear mind, chances are you will not even know. And even when you start seeing the signs, you might still be making excuses for people. But the people who are sowing that discord, manipulating, lying, getting you in trouble, trying to pull you down, know what they are
What
doing.
they are
You know
doing.
exactly
Wow.
What they are doing.
Let's say it's not even leader related.
Yes.
We are both on the same grade level.
Yeah.
And for some reason, there's rivalry between us.
Yeah.
How is we supposed to handle it? Let's say you are aware or I'm not aware. How is the person who is not aware or who is not aware that she doesn't like me, she's always coming after me?
Yeah.
How are you supposed to handle such a situation so that the work goes on?
Yeah. So if you are at the receiving end of rivalry and you're not even aware, I would say just be professional, right? Put your best foot forward, do your best work. I've realized from experience that a lot of people that are trying to put you down at work, even if it's not inspired by culture or the leadership, a lot of them are not confident in themselves. They are not confident about their competency. Sometimes they feel threatened by you, right? And they might not be sure of their own work, so they're trying to pull you down, right? So my recommendation is do your best work, put your best foot forward. A lot of organizations value good work, right? However, even if you're in an organization that does not value good work, I tell people every good experience, every good work you do is yours. When you're leaving a company, no one can take it away from you, right? So do your best, do quality work, do the kind of work that can open other doors for you.
We'll judge you fairly.
Yes, we'll judge you fairly, right? The leadership that might encourage that kind of behavior might not always be there, right? But as far as you're building yourself and developing yourself, even if you don't thrive in that environment, right, you're going to be able to thrive out in the world. And if it gets to a point where it's very toxic, mental health, because there are times when it gets so bad, people's mental health.
It is happening.
Yeah, people have high blood pressure. Please, they didn't tie your umbilical cord to that place. Leave.
Exit. Okay, it's interesting to know that we've heard from conversations with experts such as yourself that some persons who have become manipulative, they will call it they are being sensible and intelligent. You know what they're doing, you can see it.
Yeah.
They may not know that they are causing long-term damage and trauma. Perhaps you're not yet ready to exit, or exiting is not even an option for you to want to stay and prove your mettle. Are there ways you can relate with that person to see? Because sometimes it's not one thing you have done.
Yeah.
It's just you. You don't click. You didn't wrong the person. He or she did not wrong you. You are just not fine-tuning things together. But you'll be working there perhaps for a longer period of time than both of you envisage. Is there a way? Could you sit down together?
Yeah.
Because the elephant is already in the room.
Yeah.
And it's affecting a lot of work around you.
Okay, so let me speak to that. I know there are people that excuse me, that say they don't care if they are liked. There's something that I feel has helped my work over the years. I'm big on interpersonal skills. I like to work with people that like me, and I like to like people I work with. So anytime I go into an organization as a consultant, I read the room. And if I notice that there's a certain person that has
good or bad energy.
Yes, energy. I don't take it upon myself to only rapport with people that have good energy. I make sure that I break that ice. I try my best to see how I can get this person right. I can get to communicate well with this person. I love that point. I think it's very important you make the effort. Like, as a person, if you want to thrive in any workplace, and not just a workplace, like longevity in your career, you want to be able to relate with all sorts of people, learn about personalities, learn about temperaments, try to break the ice. But if you see that, because there are some people that no matter what you do, they will not get along with you, my recommendation is keep it professional, put aside whatever they are doing, do your best work, communicate effectively with them. And I feel like all of us have several things we do that give us some sort of covering or energy. For me, I'm a very spiritual person. I call it spiritual press up. I do spiritual press up, and I've seen that over the course of my career, God has exempted me from some very crazy situations, right? So all of us have to find that thing. And then I'm sorry, a lot of us shy away from playing office politics. Office politics doesn't always mean that you're a bad guy. Office politics might mean that you know who the power players in an organization are, and you have good, respectable relationships with them. They know that you do good work. So when those saboteurs want to go and spoil your show, those people know that this person, there's something up, right? So that's my recommendation. Be that guy. Have good relationships with the people at the top, with key players.
As
and
best as you
relationships, it
can.
has to be like
It's a
there's something
two-way
else.
thing.
Yes. Don't put people down, but let the people that matter know you're doing good work.
You're watching Weekend Deal. Do stay with us. A very interesting ride we are on, talking about rivalry in the workplace, in the home, in the community, lots more. Don't go away.
Okay, from our break, we'll be going straight to this topic, negative and healthy peer rivalry. At what point does this kind of rivalry become healthy? And at what point does it get negative? Don't bother answering, because NTA Kaduna will be joining the conversation and answering these questions and more. NTA Kaduna, take it away.
Rivalry could be healthy or destructive. Destructive rivalry can lead to stress and harm. How best can one describe rivalry that motivates growth and that which causes stress or harm?
Rivalry to me is more positive than negative. I know of a time that, being a comedian, I know of a time that I had this, I'm growing old, but we have these young people who are into comedy too. But what I did was I made sure I up my game. I made sure I do my things. I make research, and I watch other comedians to make sure that I'm up there, to make sure that I'm up to date. That's what I did. If not for that rivalry, I would not have done that.
To me, rivalry is a thing that is of the mind. It depends on how it is an inbuilt thing. It's either it's coming out in a positive way or in the negative way. I remember sometimes back then in the days, I was in township school, Port Harcourt. I had a classmate, they call her Fatima. And she was doing so well in the class. She was doing so wonderful in the class. And one day I had to ask myself, what is wrong? You're always not coming, your results, it's terrible, And Fatima was always coming first. She hardly comes second. And I sat down one day and I spoke to myself. Fatima has one head. Fatima has two eyes. Fatima has one ear. Fatima has one. I started. So you also have the same thing Fatima has. She doesn't have extra head. And so why? So I sat down one day and I said, no, this has to stop. And so that spirit of rivalry to me has pushed me to do a lot of positive things.
What triggers or fuels destructive rivalry among friends?
Now, what triggers destructive rivalry? You see envy, you see jealousy. Once you have the spirit in you, it can trigger an unhealthy rivalry lifestyle. It can trigger it. So I want to encourage people should desist from that habit of an unhealthy rivalry. And also, an unhealthy rivalry can make you to kill someone. An unhealthy rivalry can make you to harm someone.
To me, I feel there should be rivalry in anything that I'm doing. I prefer to see challenges. Those challenges are that rivalry that I'm getting from a co-business person, somebody who's doing the same business with me, because it's getting more and more packaged, probably younger. Me too, I want to do my best to make sure I am better than him, From the experience, it makes me feel I am more experienced, so I should do better.
How and when does rivalry become toxic?
That is when it is openly displayed. You get it? Sometimes, okay, for example, let me give you this example between these two great footballers, Messi and Ronaldo. If you look at what is happening between them, somebody will say, no, this one is the best, this one is the best. Do you get it? But have you ever seen the two of them exchanging words?
Healthy competitions between people have the potential to inspire, encourage, and challenge friends to do more. How and when can it be used as motivation for improvement?
No, you see, rivalry, that is for the individual who is very sound, who is very sane, who is not used to jealousy, envy, or hatred. That, what should I say, rivalry can be used to its own benefit.
Quite interesting, wouldn't we say? There's the talk behind the talk. They call it the backstory. We were here building our own backstory. And our guests, my co-anchor have been like, sharing their opinions on certain things. Life, they often say, is deep. And you need to grow depth to sustain and survive and surmount in this life. We don't know what the future will hold for any of us, but we're ready, to surmount. Okay, there are messages coming in. If you permit me, let me take some. Someone says here, it says, in my boss, where I work is a workshop. I'm one of many apprentices. He said, even when I work very hard, my boss hardly commends me. I see people who work less, who come late to work, and they get commendation. I come early, I work hard, I'm creative, I hardly get noticed or commended. Someone says, Eki Fomorafite says, rivalry is a natural part of life, but when approached with the right mindset, it can be a powerful force for growth and improvement. Healthy rivalry inspires individuals to push the boundaries, to sharpen their skills and achieve excellence while maintaining respect and integrity. It's not about tearing others down, but about challenging one another to rise higher and to rise above.
That's beautiful. Who is that?
Orafite Eki from Orafite.
Oh, nice.
People at the top should see themselves as servants, as servant leaders and peacemakers in any work environment, and see their subordinates and other workers below them as members of one interesting and big family, so that envy and gossip will be forbidden and discouraged. That way, my people, is a great tool to create a healthy work and family environment. Let me just take one more. The solution to rivalry in the workplace is no gossip. Keep a smile on your face always, and sometimes your smile can be what the next person needs. They say seek for more knowledge, seek to upskill and upgrade, be helpful. The last one it says is be prayerful. So let me rest our messages for now.
When we tell you join the conversation and you actually join our conversation, we don't take it for granted. Thank you for always making our show richer. Now, we've talked about rivalry among peer groups, and we've talked so much again about what happens at work when there is rivalry. But Dio is taking it further, and she has done a research on workplace business rivalry. Dio, let's see what you found out.
Today's business world, competition is everywhere. Whether it's two companies battling for market share or two co-workers vying for the same promotion. Rivalry is a constant force shaping our professional lives. Can workplace rivalry be described as productive or counterproductive?
Now, how do we reduce this rivalry? One of the things I think we can do to reduce rivalry in the workplace is ensuring collaboration. Okay? Once you ensure that there are collaborative measures in place, to ensure that team members work together in harmony. Okay? And how do you foster that? You can encourage having teams coming together to achieve a particular goal. Okay? So you can say, for example, you want to have HR team collaborating with the IT team and also collaborating with the sales team, to ensure a common goal. Because, of course, the objective of every business is to generate revenue.
Rivalry, when balanced, can bring out the best in employees. That is, moderate levels of competition can improve workplace productivity. A sense of competition drives people to set goals, work harder, and innovate? How can businesses compete positively?
When you have healthy rivalry within the organization, it fosters research and development, as it were. Because when I see my colleague doing better than me, and it is not as if I'm being talked down, on, like you're not performing and being trashed and being bullied because of my non-performance. Whereas, instead of my non-performance, I'm being encouraged. I'm being advised on how to do better. By so doing, I'll go into research and why is my colleague doing better than me? And that takes me into personal development. So, okay, he's better at HR. Okay, I can also take a course in cybersecurity, which also helps my IT unit. Or I can take a course in business, in sales and development, And once we do that, you discover that when people begin to develop, it begins to rub off on the business.
But when rivalry goes unchecked, it can quickly turn toxic. Excessive competition can lead to stress, burnout, and even sabotage, where employees put personal ambition over teamwork and collaboration. What self-improvement strategies can workplace introduce to reduce rivalry and unhealthy competition?
Another thing you can also do is mentorship. When you pair people within the organization, you have a boss in HR, you pair him with an employee in the IT department. When you have those mentorship trainings, exposures to a lot of talents, within the organization, you discover that all of this helps to reduce rivalry within the organization.
In extreme cases, rivalry can lead to high employee turnover, as people seek workplaces that offer a healthier, more supportive environment. So, while competition has its benefits, too much can harm employee morale, productivity, and even a company's culture. And same goes to competitions amongst businesses, which must be done legally, fairly, and professionally.
There's one place we all like to enjoy. What kind of rivalry we all enjoy? But when it starts, some people even start it so that they will know what would happen. Among celebrities, especially when they are fans, one set of fans against another fan. Celebrity beef is something that we all enjoy. It's electrifying and entertaining at the same time. Suzanne is going to bring to the table right now a celebrity rivalry. Let's watch.
In a world where dreams soar and ambitions are high, we often see the light but not the shadows that linger. For many entertainers, the journey to success is not only about talent, it is a path where admiration and rivalry walk side by side. Rivalries have long been a part of the entertainment world, a force that fuels competition, shapes careers, and at times tears people apart. In Nigeria's vibrant entertainment industry, rivalry among entertainers is no exception. But what drives this rivalry?
Sometimes that might not be known to the public, maybe money or the fame or something that brings them into rivalry. And I don't think there should be an issue like that. Like me now, I'm an artist. I did a song in Magneto. He's bigger than me. Maybe I should say that, I should hate on him or something for people to come and be saying, no, I don't think there should be any need of that. Like, I've worked with Young John. I don't think there's, like now Young John was, when I worked with him, he was producing only, but now he's an artist. And I should not hate on him because of his doing well or something. There should not be any need of rivalry. Like, together we can grow. There's space for everybody in the industry. I believe there's music for every feeling. When you're sad, when you're happy, there's music for every single feeling. So there's space for everybody to pop. Today you listen to P-Square, tomorrow you listen to John Jazzy, tomorrow you listen to Rema, Davido. There's every space for everybody. So if you're hating on somebody, I don't think there's a reason why you should do that.
This competition is not just about talent, It is about marketability, media presence, and fans. Every artist wants to be the number one to top the charts, to win awards. And when the stakes are so high, envy often creeps in, driving wedges between even the closest friends.
I'm sitting on the throne. I'm a grown man and a young body. I'm sitting on the throne. I ain't got beef with nobody.
Rivalry fuels fans' culture, creating intense loyalty and passion, but sometimes this devotion can turn toxic, leading to online clashes and harsh criticisms. The media sometimes amplifies these feels, turning artist disagreements into viral headlines.
Sometimes I just see that people do it for clouds. Some people don't really have issues. Some people just do it like, oh, let's just say we have issues so that we can trend more, so people can have what to talk about. But like personally, I don't think people have issues like that. But sometimes they do, and I feel we should just embrace peace more. I don't think there's any need for rivalry. If your brother is doing well, be happy for him. There's this saying that today not your own, tomorrow should be my turn. You understand? Be happy for somebody so that when it's your turn, you can be appreciated too.
The quest for fame is exhausting, and rivalry often intensifies the pressure as artists struggle to stay at the top. They sometimes battle feelings of inadequacy or jealousy towards their peers. But rivalry doesn't have to end in bitterness. Some Nigerian entertainers are breaking the circle by supporting one another, using rivalry as a tool for collaboration rather than division. In the end, rivalry is part of the entertainment journey. Together, they can uplift the industry, creating a legacy of strength and unity for the future generations.
Yeah. Now this kind of thing where you they do me when me know they like at all. Oh my Kelly con de auto, baby con de jazz me, Kelly con de cool me.
Well done, Suzanne. That was quite in-depth and creative. And I like the fact that all our features, all our main documentaries are re-emphasizing that it is possible to do it together. It is possible to have mutual respect. It's possible to be competitive, but still stay mutually respectful of each other. We're about to wrap up this segment of our conversation today on Weekend Deals. So, Jason, can we have your final words on this topic?
Okay, thank you once again for having me this morning. My final words will be this. Rivalry in every human relationship is bound to exist. Now, but as a person and as a minister of the gospel, the God factor, you cannot rule it out. You, when you take up another nature, as a spiritual nature, which can only, be accessed through Christ, you turn to live a life that is supernatural, which the natural cannot sit upon and suppress. And if we have everyone take that up, then we'll have a sane society. I mean, this exists even in the political setting. It's even worse within that sector. But when you see a man that has that touch of God, it makes a whole lot of a difference.
True. Okay. Okay, your final words, what do you think?
Thank you. So my final words will be that everyone should invest in trying to be as emotionally intelligent as possible. Because when you check the emotions that sponsor unhealthy competition or rivalry, a lot of times it comes from jealousy, envy, lack of self-confidence, right? And I'm sure there are other emotions. So be emotionally intelligent enough to be emotionally aware, right? It's okay for you to acknowledge that, oh, this is jealousy. Oh, I'm being selfish, but if you do not identify those emotions and self-regulate, you're going to act it out, right? So it starts with you, and also professionally, if you're a leader, build yourself, improve your leadership skills so that you can foster good teams, right? Teams that are not toxic and, you know, and then even as a person, stop looking at other people and thinking, oh, why are they praising this person and they are not praising me? Oh, so this is your best stuff, I'll pull that person down. No, work on yourself, improve yourself, be the kind of person that cannot be ignored. But even if you're ignored, like, just do your best work, be as professional as possible, try to have good social skills. And if things are not working, I know you said some people can't move on, but I don't know, just move on if you have to.
Look
That's
at the
what
gates.
I recommend.
Take a walk to the gate, the brighter side. I like some words you have used, moral compass and self-regulate. We'll continue to learn and upgrade ourselves mentally, emotionally, and in every wise.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for coming on Weekend Deal. Toynrick and Jason, it's been an amazing experience with you both. Wow. What a reveal.
What a reveal. I mean, life continues to be a learning curve. I will learn every day. My younger brother has something on his status. He said, while you're waiting your turn to be great, please clap for others. Cheer on others. And it's on that note, as we cheer on, we remain your friends, nor your rival. We're in this together. We are going on a break, so stay with us.
Okay, it's Weekend Deal. Always, you can count on us to bring up interesting and topical gists that will interest you and ensure that you contribute so that the program is interactive like you've been doing all morning. Let's welcome our next guest. It's just a slight detour to make it richer and to enrich our knowledge as well. Welcome, Mrs. Jamila Wada. She's a member of the steering committee of the Abuja Garden Show. I'm already feeling flowery. Ooh, welcome to Weekend Deal.
Thank you. Thank you for
Some
having
people
me.
may be hearing about the Abuja Garden Show for the very first time, but I know you are quite familiar with all its practices. Can you enlighten us just a bit?
Okay, the Abuja Garden Show is an exhibition of plants and plant-related things. So things like accessories like pots, gardening tools, and even plant-derived fabric and beauty products. So it's a specially curated lineup of vendors that sell all things plants, all things sustainability, that type of show.
Okay, so if I'm coming, let's say I'm a first-time attendee of your garden show, what am I expected to see? Will I have a nice time? What will I enjoy?
Okay, you're going to definitely have a nice time.
Okay.
It's a very relaxed shopping experience, very well put together, and you will see a lineup of plants. The show is literally, it's at the Sarius Palmatum, which is a botanical garden at Maitama, and it's owned by Mrs. Mohammed, the former First Lady of Nigeria, and she probably houses the largest.
Mohammed who? So that Nigerians.
Mrs. Murtala Mohammed,
Okay,
Mrs. Ajoke Murtala Mohammed.
Okay.
So she houses the largest collection of palms in West Africa. So it literally has its own microclimate. So even if you don't buy a thing at the fair, the access to the garden and the grounds, it's probably the most beautiful place in Abuja.
I mean, that's
Perhaps in Nigeria.
In Nigeria.
I dare say Nigeria.
I mean, the show is sounding so organic, and I want to be there already. But let me go a bit outside of that. Should you think Nigerians are flower lovers? Do you think we plant enough flowers in our houses?
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, okay.
The movement is growing. This is the 3rd edition of the Abuja Garden Show, and I have seen it as a member of the steering committee. I've seen the growth firsthand. I'm also a landscape designer, so I'm a vendor. I've been a vendor at every single one of these shows. Climate advocacy is inevitable for Nigeria. We're a huge population. We're large consumers. We have to live today in the way that it is not detrimental to future generations. So it is not a choice for us. It is compulsory. So whether the movement is growing at the rates that it should be growing, is promoters of climate advocacy, we're promoters of sustainability, we're promoters of slow living. We want fast food, we want fast fashion. We're not thinking about sustainability. We're depleting all these resources. We're not planting trees and things like that.
You're talking about the Abuja Garden Show, but we have a great country called Nigeria, and everything you've talked about affects every state and is impacting an entire nation. What are the plans to take this nationwide so that everyone can be as enthusiastic and as excited and as driven as you are today?
Thank you. That's a very interesting question, actually. We have vendors, even from Lagos this time around. Savvy Gardens came all the way from Lagos. We've had people who come year on year from Niger, the pottery people, and from Katsina. So we have vendors from all over Nigeria. And again, some of the Abuja vendors are not local. They sell online. They cover the whole of Nigeria.
Okay.
So it is a movement. We will get there. We're anticipating vendors from the rest of Africa, West Africa and the rest of Africa in subsequent editions.
Oh, so let me quickly, are there some flowers that we can actually consume? And can you tell us, like, I hear hibiscus flower, for example, we can actually make tea of hibiscus. I feel like an English lady talking about this. Make tea and then you just drink. Tell us about some of the flowers.
Okay, so the hibiscus that you consume is the roselle.
Okay.
So that's the zopu. That's zopu. So we have Salma's garden is at the Abuja Garden Show. She's a connoisseur of all things edible. So you will find her there. But today, I'm not selling overtly for anybody. Every vendor at the Abuja Garden Show, I'm an evangelist for every vendor at the Abuja Garden Show.
Beautiful.
So there are people you will find there. Juno Berry, Salma's Garden, they do edibles. And perhaps some other people have some miniature lemon trees or orange trees. Things you can just buy and put in your car.
So
At the end of the day, we have to control this food chain. We don't want to have to deal with these complexities of there's no subsidy, therefore fuel is increasing. You must control your food value chain as much as possible. So grow that seed.
It's nice that you have come to speak with us today.
Yeah.
Because Patience are falling in love with you, you in love with her. I'm not in love with both of you. We'll certainly be at the Abuja Garden Show and we wish you well.
We look
And
forward
great
to
success even this year.
We look forward to welcoming you. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you, Jamila. Okay, sports. We'll go to our sports studio. It is time for Sports Summit.
It was like a bad dream on Monday in Oyo when Nigeria took on Rwanda. I tell you something, before that game, a lot of Nigerians, including journalists, did say to Augustine Egwabon, the interim manager of the team, that there's no reason for him to play the top players against Rwanda. Some of us even said, get the home-based players to prosecute that game and we'll beat Rwanda. Game started, Nigeria scored. You saw it right now. Then, boom, Rwanda scored. That's equalizer, and they went on to win that game. Nigeria lost by 2-1 to Rwanda. Some will call it a sacrilege. But the issue is simple. You wanted Egwavon to experiment, to play with his second team, and at the end of the day, the second team disappointed Nigeria. My name is Godwin Enakna. Thank you for joining us. It's Sports Summit on Weekend Dealer. We'll take a break. When we come back, you will listen to Augustine Egwavon, the interim coach of the Super Eagles of Nigeria, and of course, the captain of the team, William Truss Ekong, talk about Monday's game. Welcome back. I did say when we return, we'll be listening to Augustine Egwavon and, of course, his captain.
Below standard, but feel very sad right now. It was not what we planned for. We scored, and then against the run of play, we conceded. And we tried to change formation. Didn't work. It happened some of those days. And today is one of those days. Consider the second goal. Try to change again formation, bring in two strikers. It just didn't work. Yeah, I mean, goals win games. We all know that. They're scoring goals in their club sides, they're scoring goals in training. So when it comes to the game, they don't score goals. We keep asking the same question.
We have to take responsibility. The set piece is now 2 games, 2 goals conceded. It's something that we have to work on. I think also whenever you have some changes in the team, there's some different roles again. But I'll take responsibility as much as I think all of the other players, attackers, defenders, everyone, that we need to do better, because I think set pieces can be very key to a game. I think today the set piece changed the momentum, because I thought before that I can't remember them having a shot on target or working the goalkeeper. So yeah, we were caught a little bit off guard there, and something that we need to improve.
Disappointed, they are owning up to taking responsibility. But the question on this edition of Sports Summit on Weekend Deal is to find out from Nigerians, do we really have a B team, or our best team is the first team?
I think that we have a very good team, but that's first team and even the Team B in question now. We saw them against Rwanda, and I think they gave a good account of themselves. Something that I believe was lacking in that game is that these guys, this is the first time they are playing together as a collective. And so the chemistry is not there.
We can always blame the coaches on different occasions, but in this case, Nigeria does not have a Team B. This Team B is worse. This Team B they are reckless. They didn't do well at all.
The players should take the responsibility. There is no way the Nigerian B team of superstars, millionaires, cannot beat Rwanda, a team that did not even qualify for the African Nations Cup. Well, on your screen there, the 24 nations that have qualified for the African Nations Cup, Nigeria is right there. It starts on the 21st of December 2025. Nigeria's flag over there. Let's put the defeat behind us because the World Cup qualifiers is in March 2025. We are living dangerously. We only have 3 points, and that tells us that we need to win our remaining 6 games for us to make it to the Mundial that will be happening in the Americas. My name is Godwin Enak, and I thank you for joining us. It's a Sports Summit on Weekend Deal. Keep praying for Nigeria. God bless Nigeria.
Many thanks, Godwin. That was amazing as always. You know, when I see Austin Oguavo in there, I think he will leapfrog on the successes of Stephen Keshi. He was in that team where they won, and he saw his teammate Keshi go and bring the AFCON Cup. I think there's no bigger inspiration for him and the Super Eagles squad. They best put their best foot forward and make Nigeria proud.
You know, when it comes to the Super Eagles, and you know, when we qualified, the first thing I said was, God, I beg you. And you know what that means. And even now, as he's speaking, all I can say is still, God, I beg you. I mean, this seeing the promised land or looking like we're seeing the promised land and not getting into it.
This is a great team.
I've had it up to.
An amazing time we've had on the show. You know, still many messages coming in. It will be our hope that don't stop, keep them coming in. Patience will be on hand tomorrow to let the world know what you're thinking, how you're growing and developing, and by association inspiring others. We're not in a competition. There should be no rivalry. Everything has a time and a place. You know, when we want to move fast, you can go alone. But if you want to go far and make great impact, you need to do it as a team.
Together.
Come on, girl.
Together.
Come on, girl.
Together we will win. Like I said, we're not rivals, we are together. Thank you for watching our show today. We love you for always keeping a date with us.
And in the meantime, keep clapping for all those who have been celebrated. And when it gets to your turn, you have a whole community celebrating you.
For you too.
God bless Nigeria.